Tom Savage. Tom, one of your pieces this week in the paper and on Sporting Limerick First was, I suppose, a piece to remind us of the importance of sport, the fact that it's returning, the fact that it can play not just a role in people having something to do and something to watch, but it's an outlet, and it's something that's important to mental health. And you've had your own experience with that too.
Very much so, yeah. It's kind of only when rugby kind of went away that you see the importance of it. And it's, you wouldn't want to have too much of your life being involved in a sport either. It's not that. And that's certainly, I'm trying to diversify, we'll say. But when you look at just the joy it gives, uh, loads of people, the followers of sport, the followers of Munster Rugby. I can only really talk for myself, but it gave me such a focus every week and such a thing to look forward to. And I've had it since I've had the article out on TRK Premium for a while now. A lot of people have been on to me kind of saying, look, that they've had similar experiences where since the rugby has gone, that they have felt a kind of a thing of where every week kind of is the same, where where sport is kind of really unimportant in a lot of ways, but because it's unimportant, it gives you a look into it gives you a look at something normal. It gives you a look at a struggle between two teams in a field, and as a result, then you are invested in that struggle, and you get to escape from your life for however long you're thinking about the game beforehand, during the game while you're watching it, and then when you're thinking about it again afterwards. In that regard, I think people in the absence of sport have kind of seen how important it is, not just for playing it, for the exercise benefits of it or whatever, but elite sport, watching it on TV, going to games, the whole lot of it, where you don't realize how important it is until it's gone. We know it's unimportant, when Bill Shankly said, it's life or death. It's way more important than that. It wasn't, but in one way, then because it's so unimportant, it can take up a lot of kind of space that could be, that we don't really like having too much time to think. It's not something that I enjoy, and it's something that with sport coming back now, it just takes up a lot of mental space, which is not always a bad thing.
Yeah, and I suppose that mental space, that distraction, you do kind of, like I said, you do miss I missed the drive down to Cork, putting on the radio, listening to podcasts, Jellies, coffee, Supermax on the way back up home.
Mm-hmm.
You probably missed the same when you're coming up and down to Limerick. Even getting in around the ground, getting in that hour beforehand when you'd kind of go upstairs, get your program, have a coffee up in the media room, or head out onto the terrace. I suppose sometimes we, and maybe this kind of lockdown has taught us that we are in despite the fact that we might bitch and moan about it, sometimes we are in a very lucky position to get paid or to make some sort of a living out of going to these games. It's given us a renewed appreciation for what we have.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, I always, when I'm ever going to a game, if I'm covering it in, up in the press area or not, like, to go there as early as I can. Like, because I'm always at the games, like, as in because, when you get a media ticket, you get to go in at early, like at 6. So, like, I'm in at 6 and I'm up there early because I love watching all the people coming in. I love the guys coming out warming up. I love watching them as they're warming up, getting my laptop out and getting all that stuff set up. And it's like to extend it almost, So you could be there for an hour and a half maybe, or 2 hours before the game. And then there's the game, and then there's the, going down into the press room afterwards, and there's the interviews, and then there's the walking away back, and, during the game as well. It's just the vibe around it, like, so blessed to have that job and to have the ability to cover those games, to get into that area and to see it. Because, like, I've been to games like recently, mainly like in Cork, for, in the press area. But like for Thomond, still, majority of the time I've been there as a supporter, and I still like to go in there early and still like to be there on the terraces or whatever else and just take in the atmosphere of the place, because like I was doing a media bit there. It was over a year ago now, where I got to go into Thomond Park for Mr. Binman, and I had to do it. It was a total disaster, the thing I was doing, because they wanted me to do live commentary over the tannoy as Reece Marshall, Alex Wootton, and Andrew Conway were throwing balls into wheelie bins, and I was supposed to be commentating on this as if it was a kind of a live sports thing. It's like I don't do that. But anyway, they gave me the mic, and you could not hear a bloody thing over the because basically it was just me kind of going whoa over the mic, and basically it was all echoing around. You couldn't hear it, so I had to re-record it again afterwards. But when I was there, I got to walk out onto the pitch. I got to stand on the pitch in Thomond Park. I got to walk down to where all these moments happened, where there was the scrum, where Doug Howlett was in the scrum against Northampton. I got to walk down and stand in that spot. I got to stand where, Ronan O'Gara dropped the goal against Northampton again. The other tries like that. All these moments that have happened there. And it was such a privilege to be standing there and to be out there in that moment in a big empty stadium. It's, again, like I give out about a lot of things in the game. Everything, but it's like it's such a blessing to be involved in it. And I think when you're kind of now, in particular with all this stuff, it's like it's such a again, like again, it's a privilege to be able to be in that position to kind of cover it and to have the game be so much of my life now. Because again, I'm kind of fortunate enough to be professional doing this now. Well, paid professionally. Whether I'm professional or not, I don't know. But it's just one of those things that you just remember how blessed you are to be involved in all of this now, and that's certainly the way I'm feeling after this lockdown and with the end in sight almost.